Okay, guys, we are going to go ahead and get started here. First off, for any of you who are watching this webinar live, we want to welcome you. Also, for those of you who are going to be watching this later on social media, YouTube, things like that, we want to welcome you, and we're glad you're here to listen to us. But I'm Brandon McGee. I'm the owner of the McGee Law Firm, and have not done an interview with the experts in a while. It's been a few months, and I've been missing it. But today, really, really happy here to have Nathan Loftis with us. Nathan is with Go Giver Assisted Living, and I had personally not met Nathan until just this morning. My staff had met him, and they spoke real highly of him and his personality, and so we got him in today. And he does have a good personality, but more important is what he has to offer the people who need help with assisted living. So we're real excited. So Nathan, welcome.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about when did Go Giver Assisted Living start, and what got you and your brother into this business?
So we started February of 2022. And just to give you a little background on me, my grandfather, we seen love exuded on a whole nother level. My grandmother, my mother's mother, she suffered from rheumatoid arthritis, one of the most dilapidating arthritis one can possess and have. Uh, Her mother, my great grandmother, suffered from Alzheimer's. So at the time, my grandmother, who suffered from Alzheimer's, stayed in a little small town called Rockdale. For those who from Central Texas, you may or may not know about that Rockdale Tigers. You know, Wright Street across the tracks, Lavelle, Second and Plum. And so when it got to the point to where her Alzheimer's got to the point to where she couldn't take care of herself, my grandfather uprooted his wife, my grandmother, relocated them from San Antonio, Texas to Rockdale, Texas. And that man, being the stand-up guy that he was, took care of both of those women until their dying day.
Okay.
You don't see that today.
No.
You know, stuff like that happens when, they're out.
Right.
We lost the concept of what love is. Love is not just a feel-good feeling. It's when it gets thick too. And so when we seen that, we had the right perception and the concept of what love is, being there for somebody when they really need you. And so that was always ingrained in me as a child. Prior to me being in the healthcare industry, I was a truck driver in the oil field. 2020, April 14th of 2020, on my way to do my first load, I was T-boned on the passenger side of my trailer by a guy going 75 miles per hour because he failed to stop at the stop sign at the intersection. As a result of that, I had to have two neck surgeries, two back surgeries, and I had to have my neck surgeries was successful. Back surgeries was not successful. I was more messed up because of the actual surgery than the accident.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't walk for like, I don't know, 6, 7 months. And so I wasn't getting the care that I deserved. So my relationship with my residents is more personal than a lot of other residential care home
Because
owners.
even though you're not a senior,
That's
you've been
right.
in their position.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And so I could relate to them more because I know how it feels to be in your urine and not be changed. I know how it feels to be sitting in your feces and not be changed. Right. And so by me going through that, I'm a little bit more compassionate than a lot of other people because I've been through this firsthand. I know what it feels like to be independent one day and not be able to walk the next day.
Right.
I was told that I wouldn't walk. But the devil is a lie. The devil is a lie, man. I was determined, and by the grace of God, after 6, 7 months, I began to walk again. I started off doing little stuff, then I started off on a walker, then I went from a walker to a cane, then I went from a cane to hobbling on the wall to walking halfway to the stop sign, or all the way to the stop sign, to all the way around the block. And so when I figured out that I couldn't drive trucks anymore, I was like, what am I gonna do?
Right.
So when I couldn't walk, I became an avid reader. I read a book by a guy by the name of Napoleon Hill who wrote a book called Outwitting the Devil. Now, in this particular tome, he's having a conversation between himself and the devil to help us as humanity at large understand temptation and how to deal with it in our day-to-day lives. So it's one particular part of the book. He talks about how in the Black community and the Black culture, when somebody is ambitious, when somebody is driven, they ascribe the title as being a go-getter. You know what I mean? She has her own home health company. She's a go-getter. He has his own hospice company. He's a go-getter because it takes a lot to strike out and be an entrepreneur because there's not no guarantees, right? But he talks about we come to that critical juncture in our life where we must transition and make the metamorphosis from being mere go-getters to a go-giver. And I've never had that term before.
Right.
I was already familiar with the term go-getter.
Right.
Everybody talks about when I give my money, I'm gonna get on, I'm gonna put it in these haters' face, and I'm gonna shine like the star that I am. Everybody talk about how they're gonna put it in everybody's face, but nobody ever talks about how they're gonna give back.
Right.
And so that's something that stuck with me. And it's actually a book called Go Giver, but I'm pretty sure they got that term and that phrase from Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil, as well. And so at the time, I didn't know that I was going to pursue this as a business. I didn't know I was going to use it as a name. It's just something that stuck with me.
Well, tell me how did you go? So, and by the way, guys, I've seen him walk. He walks perfectly fine. Got 100, at least he looks like he got 100%. So, but tell us how. So you had this tragic situation, and then you got yourself back together. And obviously you now have this ability to relate to the people, primarily seniors, who are in these kind of situations with their health declining. How did you and your brother come up with this idea?
So when I found out because of the incident that happened with the truck accident, I couldn't drive trucks anymore because I can't sit long, right? Because I'm in chronic pain. Even though I could walk, I'm still in chronic pain. So I was like, well, what can I do to make money and provide for my family? Now, when I was driving trucks, if you know about the oil field, you know it's good money. I didn't have a life, but it was good money. Right. So I was like, how can I get money, but at the same and provide for my family, but at the same time give back to the community? So a good friend of mine, he does what I do, but he does it in Houston. Okay. Him and his wife have been doing this for over 10 years. Okay. Right? God's House of Compassion. And so he was like, well, have you ever thought about residential care homes? I didn't know nothing about what I had no knowledge of it, anything like that. And so he is the one who they are the ones who kind of ushered me into what I'm doing right now. And I can tell you that it's so fulfilling. I was getting good money as a truck driver, but this is fulfilling. When you have families that invite you to the wakes when people transition and pass away, people who invite you to the funerals, you're in the actual obituary. That's personal.
Yeah, absolutely.
People who tell you, I wish I would have knew about residential care homes before I had my mother in this other place. Y'all take so good care of my mother or my uncle or my aunt. That's fulfilling.
And let's talk about that. So tell us exactly what it is you and your brother provide at Go Giver and how that does differ from a large scale residential care facility.
Okay. So what we do, how we differ from them is that, and this is no slight against assisted living facilities or residential or memory care or people who provide assisted living. No slight against them at all. We need those people, right? But for somebody who wants something smaller, something more homely, something more personal and intimate, and somewhere where the resident to staff ratio is like 3-to-1 or 4-to-1, we're the people for that. Okay. And so a lot of times when you go to a skilled nursing facility on a good day, typically the resident to staff ratio is 16-to-1. A lot of times there'll be one CNA for one hallway. So you have to ask yourself, is my people gonna get the care that they need in a situation like that?
Right.
It's not that the caregivers there don't care and are not passionate about what they do. That's not, they're placed in a system that's designed to fail.
Okay.
It's no way that one caregiver can take care of 16 to 25 people by themselves. It's just not possible, right? And then you have assisted living and memory cares. Now, their resident to staff ratio is better, and you'll get a better care there. But what makes us different is that just think about real estate. Think about an adjustable rate mortgage and a fixed rate mortgage. When you get a mortgage, you're always going to want a fixed rate mortgage. You ain't going to want it to fluctuate. But when you go to assisted living and memory cares, they have what's called levels of care.
Right.
And based on the levels of care will determine what you're paying a month. So you might come in paying $6,000 a month and it balloons to $7,500 a month. You could afford the 6,000, but you can't afford the 7,500. So one of the things that makes us different is that we have a fixed rate mortgage based on the assessment of that patient, whatever they come in paying. Even if they decline tomorrow or next week, God forbid,
You honor that.
will remain the same price. This is one of the ways we give back.
Okay, wonderful. And so you guys have essentially several different private homes in the Fort Worth area.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that right?
That is correct.
And then you've got some in North Fort Worth, you've got some over by the TCU area.
That's correct.
Okay. And on average, normally how many, if it's full to capacity, how many residents are in the home?
We try to keep it to 4.
Four. And then you always have one caretaker in there. So instead of being one caretaker for 16 people or something like that, it's one caretaker for four.
For 4. You're not going to find that resident to staff ratio anywhere. And I think another thing that makes us different is that it's more personal. See, when you call us, you're getting me, you're getting my brother, you're getting the general manager, you're getting the actual caregiver that's there, right? You're not getting put on hold listening to some boring elevator music.
Right.
You're not talking to a robot that's asking you for an extension.
Right.
So it's personal.
Sure, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? It's personal. You know, we send the family pictures every week of, what they're doing, the activities that they're engaged in. Even if they busy, we still send them pictures. Facilities don't do that. Why? Because they don't have time. They have 80, 100 plus people. I mean, you can't do that for 80, 100 plus people.
Right.
So for somebody that wants something more personal, more homely, and more intimate, I would suggest you go to a residential care home. Now, I will say this. If your family member is looking to be more sociable, right? Where they have a lot of activities, maybe they go on field trips, things like that. That's when you want to utilize a assisted living or a memory care because it's more people to socialize with. It's more
Right.
people to, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you want. Like I
The
say,
personality.
we all have to work together. I'm for assisted livings and memory cares. I'm for all that. It just depends on what the family needs.
Absolutely.
So we're for residential care homes are for people who want something more personal, more homely, more intimate, and more affordable, right? And see, since we don't have the overhead that assisted living or a memory care facility has, we're able to charge less without compromising the quality of the care that we provide for our residents.
And let's talk about this. So first tell me, what are some of the I guess the best way to put this is, what are some of the issues that the person might have that cause them to need to be in an assisted living type care with you guys, for example? And then where do we draw the line to where you might say that person needs too much and they probably need to be in skilled nursing? Where kind of explain what you guys, the situations that you guys can help with,
Right.
in the situations where you might have to say, you know what, that person needs skilled nursing.
Right. And this is how you can tell that somebody is in it for the money or not. Everybody has to have something going on to provide for their family, right? We understand that. But this is the dichotomy between people who are really passionate about serving others and people who are just in it for the money. For the people that's just in it for the money, man, I don't like y'all. Y'all give us a bad name. I'm tired of it. Cut it out. The thing that separates us from a lot of people is that we don't treat these people like residents
Right.
or patients. We treat these people like family.
Right.
As if it was our uncle, our mother, our aunt, our grandfather, that's the difference.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing about a skilled nursing facility is that they have 24 hours a day, they have a registered nurse.
Okay.
So people like myself, I couldn't accept somebody that's like on a G tube or a feeding tube,
Right.
or somebody that's on like maybe a TPN.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna accept somebody like that, knowing that my caregiver is not trained to do that.
Exactly. Right.
They need to go to a skilled nursing facility. So from the outset, I couldn't accept something like that.
So let's talk about so compared to somebody that does not need assisted living, they're absolutely fine. They take care of themselves on one end, and then over here we've got people that need skilled nursing.
Right.
Middle zone where people need assisted living. What commonly are some of the services that you guys provide that they need for that?
So typically we accept anything except for, violent behaviors. We're not geared for that. We don't accept violent behaviors. We don't accept TP. And let me say, some people who own residential care homes are registered nurses. So they can do that. They can handle that. We're not equipped for that. We're not afraid to say we're not equipped for that.
Yeah.
But somebody who is like hospice, right? They're bed bound.
Right.
They're not really doing a lot. When you're in assisted living and memory care, because you're bed bound, because you're on hospice, the level of care is gonna go up.
Right.
With us, if you're bed bound and you're on hospice, the price is gonna remain the same.
Okay. So if somebody is bed bound, some of those folks you guys can have, and then as residents, and if somebody's on hospice, you have residents that are on hospice, is that right?
Right.
Okay.
And another thing that separates us is, I would say, like assisted living and memory cares typically do not accept people who have Hoyer lifts, because a Hoyer lift is a two-person assist. Right, we accept people with Hoyer lifts.
Okay.
And I think another thing that separates us is our visitation times. Our visitation times. I remember one lady said, "Well, their visitation ends at like 5:30. I get up at 5 o'clock." You know what I mean? I think another thing that separates us is the food.
Okay.
We don't do the TV dinner crowd. You know what I mean? We really take pride in our food.
Okay.
I think that one of the things that families are concerned about, is about running out of money.
Right.
They're concerned about running out of money. That's a family's concern. And see, once you know the family's concern, then you can cater to them.
Right.
Right? They're concerned about running out of money. With us, you know that it's this price and it's not going to fluctuate. Another thing they're concerned about is, I'm putting my people in strangers' hands.
Yeah.
And I trust them.
Right. Yeah. That's a huge concern.
Am I putting these people in good hands?
Yeah.
Do I have to worry about neglect? Do I have to worry about abuse? Once they know that they can afford you, once they know that the quality care there, once they know they're in a location that's safe and secure, the next thing that they worry about is the food. People sleep on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? People come to us and actually gain weight.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, of course, the cost has to line up. But then in this industry, honestly, talking to a lot of different people, whether it's memory care, skilled nursing, assisted living, sometimes there's a not great reputation, thinking that people may be neglected, and even in some cases maybe even abused, because sometimes it happens, unfortunately. But so I think, for you guys to really focus on a good quality of care, that hits the nail on the head. That's what families want.
And we cater to what they want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody don't eat the same. When you have 60, 80 plus people in a facility, it's hard to cater to everybody's dietary regimen. Of course, you're going to be aware of their allergies and what they're allergic to and stuff like that. But we actually cater to what they want. You know what I mean? I think that's big. That's more of a personal touch there. Yeah. So by law, they are required to receive 3 square meals a day in conjunction with 2 snacks. But you'll find out that a lot of seniors, they don't eat like that. You know what I mean? So if they want to eat, and that's another thing, that we're not real strict about our schedule. You know, our motto is where we give your family a home away from home. So if you don't want to do activities, we're not gonna make you do activities. If you don't want to wake up until 10 o'clock, you have the right to wake up. We want this to feel like home.
And let's talk about, you had mentioned about visiting hours. What is kind of the time frame for you guys for family visits?
We stop our visitation at 8 o'clock.
Okay, so that gives people evening time. And then
Yes.
um
But we do make exceptions for people who are on hospice, and they have said that it's a contingency upon, well, they have so much time to live.
yeah.
One thing that separates us a lot from those facilities too, we will allow the families to spend the night. We will allow the families to stay there because we're in the last days now. You see what I'm saying?
And then I would assume if the client's in good enough shape, sometimes family members are coming by and picking them up, taking them out to go do things.
Yes, we have them coming to not only to take them out, we have them coming and taking them to doctor's appointments if need be. Sometimes they go on family outings. We have people who get picked up every Sunday like clockwork to go to church.
Right. Okay.
You know, so this is not a prison.
Yeah.
This is not a jail.
Right.
No, this is a home away from home.
Okay. Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about pricing.
Okay.
So just kind of give us a ballpark idea. You know, we're here in the Fort Worth market. It's 2024. What does pricing look like for you guys right now?
Pricing, we start our prices up at $4,000 a month. And then we have a community fee. We have a community fee depending on whether you're bringing pets or not. It typically starts off at $1,500 a month. So you're looking at a $5,500 move in. Like today's day is the 10th, right?
Mhm.
So let's say if we had a family member who moved their family in on the 10th, what we do, because bills are due on the 1st of the month, we would prorate that. So we would take that 4,000 divided by 30, whatever that comes out to a month.
Okay.
We would multiply that by the days left in the month so we could receive the 4,000 on the 1st of the month. That's for a shared room.
Okay.
Right? The most people that we will have in a shared room will be 2, no more than 2.
Okay.
Right? And so and then our private rooms typically start off at $5,500 a month.
Got it. Okay. Wonderful. And tell us about in the healthcare industry with what you guys are doing. What are some of the challenges that you guys face in your industry, and how do you overcome those challenges?
So people have to understand that we are dealing with people. Let me say that again. In this industry in healthcare, you are dealing with people, right? So you're dealing with your staff, you're dealing with residents, and you're dealing with the residents' families. And whenever you're dealing with people, you're going to deal with problems.
Right.
It's
the nature of the beast.
You're going to deal with problems. I want this not only to entrepreneurs, but anybody in the health, especially entrepreneurs, though. You're dealing with people. So as an entrepreneur, one of the things that you have to be, not I'm suggesting, one of the things you have to be, and this was taught to me by Mr. Low Hornbuckle. Shout out to Low Hornbuckle, Sage Oak of Lake Charles, Sage Oak of Dallas, Sage Oak of Denton. He said that you have to be a problem solver.
Okay.
You have to be able to solve problems effectively as well as efficiently, or you won't have a business.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely
true. And so this is the problem that I see in healthcare. People are trying to reach quotas. People are seeing people as a number. So imagine the treatment that you're being treated like a number or a quota. Treat people like people.
Okay.
If you treat people like people and you put the people first, the money will come.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean,
but even when you about people, you still gonna have problems. So as an individual in the business of people, you have to learn you have to be a problem solver. And you have to solve problems effectively as well as efficiently.
Okay.
You know?
And let me ask if with in you all structure, if there is a problem, let's say there's a problem between caretaker and one of the residents.
That's right.
Is that where, or two residents?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of walk us through how you guys try and solve those problems?
Okay. So let's say that somebody is in a shared room and they're not getting along. Mm-hmm. If I have a male in the room, then a male can only go in with a male A female can only go on with a female.
Okay.
Okay. So if we had some issues, we would sit down, we would have a meeting and discuss it with the residents and the residents' families,
Mhm.
right?
Okay, perfect.
And
Bring in
then,
the family.
right,
That's great.
we would address the issue. If the issue could not be solved, then we will offer maybe to move them to another room, switch them out with another person, see if that works. Maybe we can move them to another location,
Okay.
right, within that same vicinity or that
Right.
same area, right? Or if somebody is violent, that's a must. They have to go
Got it.
because we have to protect the interest of everybody
Of
there.
course. Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just about problem solving skills. If two people are not getting along, then maybe we can move one person to another room, or maybe we can move them to another home because we have multiple homes.
Okay. One. Yeah, I like that. That's great.
Right. And if we have, let's say if the problem is not with the actual another resident, let's say if the problem is actually with the caregiver. Right.
Yeah.
Because you have situations like that
Sure.
happen. You know, maybe I can have one caregiver that works one house switch out with another caregiver at another house, and maybe we can see if the problem dilutes or we can solve the problem like that.
Okay. Wonderful. I like that. So, guys, I want to let you know a few things. Number one, we are going to do a Q&A here at the end. So there should be a box where you can that says Q&A. If you guys want to type in any questions for Nathan about his company or just about assisted living in general, please type those in, and we'll get to those here in a little bit. Also, I want to let you guys know how you can contact Nathan and the Go Giver Agency. First, his phone number is 682-410-3800. And I will repeat that. 682-410-3800.
Can I say something right there?
Of course. Yes.
A lot of business people, they have like multiple phones. They have a personal phone and then they have a business phone. I don't. I have one phone for everything because my business is personal. I just wanted to say that.
That's awesome. I like that. So also, I'm going to let you know how you can find them on the internet in case you want to look them up and find out a little bit more about them and ultimately potentially contact them. It's gogiveragency.com. So it's just like it sounds, gogiveragency.com. And also tell us a little bit too about what makes you guys different from what we would call a group home.
Man, that is an excellent question. So before I even get into that, let me use this analogy. I'm a vegan.
Okay.
Or do you know the difference between a vegan or a vegetarian? Or did you know there was a difference?
I knew there was a difference, but I cannot tell you what it is.
So
is it milk?
Let me educate you. Let me educate. It's deeper than just milk. Let me educate you. A vegetarian doesn't eat meat, but they eat dairy products.
Right.
Milk, ice cream, cheese. They eat dairy products.
Right.
A vegan is strictly plant-based.
Okay.
Not only do they not eat meat, but they don't eat anything from an animal.
Okay.
So if you were called to somebody like me who is plant-based, a vegan and vegetarian, I wouldn't get offended because I know a lot of people are not educated, right?
Right.
But some vegans would get offended by you calling them a vegetarian because even though they're similar, they're different.
Right.
Okay, so let's go with the residential care homes and the group homes. No slight against the group homes. We need y'all too, right? Shout out to all the group homes that's out there. Heart of Gold, my girl Samantha Alfred, my girl April doing their thing. Shout out to all y'all. But there is a difference between a group home and a residential care. If you call a residential care home owner a group home owner, they would get offended.
Okay.
Because it's a difference.
What is the difference?
This is the difference. A group home, they typically take care of people who are independent. Let me say that again.
Okay.
A group home take care of people who are independent. That means that these people can pretty much do for themselves. When you go to a group home, all you're paying for is room and board.
I see.
There are no caregivers there.
I see. Okay.
You might have 4 or 6 people in a room in a group home. You're not gonna find that in
It's
a
more like
residential care home.
it's more like lowering your cost of living.
It's just room and
Okay.
board. You're not paying for care.
I get it. Okay.
So group homes, they typically start off $800-900 a month. They can get up to 15 if they're in a room by themselves, right?
Okay.
But that's what you're typically paying at a group home, $800-900. And what the group home owner typically does is whoever has the most sense in the group home, they make that individual the house manager.
Okay.
The house manager is the eyes and ears for the owner when they're not there. They're responsible for making sure everybody eats, everybody's doing their chores while they're not there, right? But there's no caregivers there.
Okay. I see.
Right? When you start talking about a residential care home, right? Now you're talking about people who are taking care of seniors who cannot take care of themselves.
Okay.
We focus mainly on geriatrics.
Okay.
Group homes take people, you can have somebody in the group home that's 18 or 21.
Right.
Okay. You can have people in a group home that's coming home from prison.
Right.
You can have people in a group home that have drug problems.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We're dealing with geriatrics here. We're dealing with seniors who need assistance with their ADLs.
And what is the assistance that you guys give that a group home does not? What is that?
So
Some examples.
Okay, perfect example. You know what I mean? You have somebody who has a colostomy bag, right? You have somebody who is hospice and bedbound, right? And they need that attention. They need that care. They need somebody to change their diaper, right? You have somebody who has dementia and is a flight risk.
Yeah.
So now you have to have things on the door in place to where they can't escape because they're not in their right state of mind.
Okay.
So now you need a certain type of training to deal with people who have Alzheimer's. You need a certain type of training to deal with people who have dementia.
Yeah.
You need people who are patient.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? You're dealing with a whole different sphere than somebody that might be like in a group home.
Okay. Got it.
Right? People in a group home, they might be on a walker or they might even be in a wheelchair or a cane, but they could typically do everything for themselves. In a group home, you might get 1 hot meal a day. Some group homes are different. Some get 3 a day. Some maybe get 2 a day.
And let me ask, so you guys obviously with your answer you just gave, you guys can take residents who have cognitive decline.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a point where you have to say, I'm sorry, this person may need to be like in a memory care facility, or is there, because I know obviously with cognitive decline, there's a big spectrum. But is there a point for you guys where it's like, no, this would be too much for us, or?
It depends on the care home owner and their staff if they're trained in handling with people with dementia and Alzheimer's.
Okay.
All staff are not trained with that.
Okay.
So it just differs from residential care home to residential care home.
Okay.
You know, like I said, I wouldn't accept somebody that has a TPN. But another residential care home owner who's a registered nurse, I'm not a nurse, they might not be scared of that because they can handle that because they're trained to deal with that.
Okay.
So it just depends on the scope of knowledge that individual has and how well that their staff is trained to deal with certain things. The thing that I will say is, if you know you're not trained to deal with something, don't accept the money.
Yeah.
Don't. I have a problem with that.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? I have a problem with that, man. That's robbery.
Right.
You're taking somebody money and you're not giving them the services that you promised to give them.
Yeah.
And these are the people who give us a bad name.
Right. Yeah, that's true in any industry. And guys, let me tell y'all something. I know you can't see this, but I'm looking at some brochures that Nathan has brought, and they have pictures of some of the homes and the rooms in the homes. And these are nice houses. A couple of these are over by TCU, so I kind of recognize, live pretty close to that area, and I kind of recognize this style of building. So these are some nice homes that they have here, guys.
Can I interject? Let me say so. I appreciate the compliment. I do. My mother is a retired social worker. My mother is a retired social worker for All Saints. So I know that social workers are overworked and underpaid. So shout out to all the social workers. When I first had my mother come over there, this is what she told me. She said, baby, I want to tell you something. I love the location. It's in a nice location. Any family would be safe with putting them here. Love the decor. I love your little waterfalls. I love the chandelier. She said, but baby, don't none of that stuff mean a hill of beans if you don't provide the care.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, appreciate the compliment on the houses. It's nice and all that, but we can talk about a lot of places got chandeliers hanging from the ceiling,
Right.
marble floors, and the care is trash.
Right.
Garbage with a J, garbage.
Right.
So I want to provide the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I want the ambiance of the atmosphere to be of another degree and rival that of any other person who feels like they have a nice residential care home.
Yeah.
But what we selling is not decor and not waterfalls and chandeliers and marble floor. What we selling is care.
Right.
And I put my care up against anybody out there.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's so if you've got the great care, which I'm sure you do, you guys also have great places, and it sounds like you focus on providing really good food.
Sometime, man.
You may do it.
Who knows, man? You might become a resident.
Let's slow down a little bit. Bring my 16-year-old twin son.
I don't think your wife would approve of that at all. I don't think your wife would approve of that at all.
Maybe we'll see. But I'll tell you what, if in a number of years, if I need this, I will give you because this stuff looks good.
And I need you if in regards to law, I'm gonna call you.
So guys, again, this is Nathan Loftis with the GoRiverAgency.com. So please look them up. And let's see, we've got a question here. Okay, can you say the name of your facility again? Thanks. And we'll call this more of a home than I think home is a much better term than facility because these are actual homes. Like I said, they're nice homes. And it's Go Giver. So instead of like Nathan was saying earlier, if you caught the beginning, a lot of people talk about being a go-getter. Their business focuses on giving and being go-giver. So it's GoGiverAgency.com, and that's where you can find them. Let's see, we'll hang out here another minute, see if there's any other questions. But if any of you guys have any other questions for Nathan, just please type them here. And I'm going to give you his phone number again. It's 682-410-3800. And I hope I haven't hold on, I probably messed up the computer. Let's see. No, we're back. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions. Well, there was a good number of you guys on here. We appreciate it. We hope that you got a good value out of this. It's been a lot of fun talking with Nathan. He obviously has a whole lot of passion for what he does. I think all of you guys know that people that are passionate about what they do, as opposed to just, hey, I got to go out here and figure out how to get a paycheck. The people that are passionate do a better job. The people that love their job and have passion for it, they do a good job. And I know he, kind of corrected me a little bit like, hey, we've got the nice houses, but we provide great care. And I 100% believe him. I want you guys, if any of you all have loved ones or friends that are needing this level of care here in the Fort Worth area, please reach out to Nathan.
Let me say one more thing before we close.
Sure.
To all the entrepreneurs out there, man, I want you to know that even though I'm passionate about what I do, this was not easy.
Yeah.
There's a quote that says, there are no elevators to success. You have to take the stairs.
Right.
One step at a time. It took me 7 months to get my first resident. 7 months. And where I'm at by TCU, the rent is not cheap. It was times where I had to DoorDash. I want y'all to hear me. I'm being very vulnerable with you because I know it's somebody that needs to hear this. It was times that I had to DoorDash to keep things afloat. Understand this. You're going to have to struggle before you bubble. And if you're really passionate about what you do, hey man, it's good to have people patting you on the back. I believe in you. But baby, if you don't believe in yourself, you ain't going nowhere. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta be your own cheerleader during them times where you questioning yourself. Did I do the right? These are all questions I ask myself.
Yeah.
Am I doing the right thing? You know, I'm glad that I thugged it out and I stayed the course and I remained diligent. Man, I've never made the type of finances that I'm making now. I've never been more fulfilled. That's priceless. That's something money can't buy.
Absolutely.
I've never been more fulfilled than I am now.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Taking care of people who can't take care of themselves is not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
takes a lot of
But if it's for you, man, pursue it, be diligent. Hey, man, stay the course. It will pay off, man. You can't get away from the laws that govern the universe. Some people say you reap what you sow. Some people say karma. Some people say the energy you put out is the energy you get. It's the same. If you do right by people and your intentions are pure, the money will come.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so it again, guys, you can tell just by talking to Nathan that he's a guy that's going to do 100%, best job that can be done. So any of you guys are interested, please reach out to him and check them out on the internet. Okay. And thank you guys so much for watching. Those of you who are going to be watching in the future on YouTube, Facebook, we appreciate you guys a lot too. Nathan's not going anywhere. So give him, even if you're watching this a year from now and you guys need some assistance with this, give him a call. Okay. Thanks so much. Thank you, Nathan, for coming.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.